Welcome to all. See, in our previous class, we have learned some of the techniques of integration. Okay, so integration by parts, that is also one of the technique. We have worked out some of the problems on integration by parts. See, whatever the problems we have discussed so far, they are all called as indefinite integrals. So what is the meaning of indefinite integrals? See, for example, we know this. See, if we integrate, say, x square with respect to x, we get what? See, by using the power rule, x cube divided by 3. See, we write, see, constant of integration. So why do we write constant of integration? See, this constant of integration can take any values. That is, this may take various values, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2. Okay. So after integration process is over, we write or we attach this constant to our integral. Okay. See here, that's why we call these integrals as indefinite integrals. So indefinite means we don't have any restrictions. That's why we write this constant of integration. So if I write like this, see the same function. See, if I write see like this, see what is the difference we are observing here? This is integration of x square. So we have integrated x square and we written the answer as x cube by 3 plus constant of integration. See, if I write this, see, integration of x square. See here, I haven't written anything. So we have just simply integrated and written the constant of integration. See, if I write like this, see here it contains the numbers. See, this bottom I have written 1 and see upper portion I have written this 3, and we have to integrate this x square. See, 1 to 3. So what is the meaning of this? See, we have restricted this from 1 to 3. That is, it is an interval. See, closed interval. 1, 3. It is a closed interval. Okay. So we define like this. So if the function, say, x square, if the function x square is continuous in this closed interval. See, first of all, to define or to write like this, this function should be continuous. So whatever the numbers we take, the function should be continuous in that interval, and it should be well defined. Okay, in that interval, then such type of notation we call it as definite integrals. Okay, so this integral, that is integration of x square from 1 to 3, that is called, see, definite integral. That's what I have written as a heading of this session. Okay, definite means it will have some restrictions. So starting point is 1 and ending point is 3. What is that? That is a closed interval. Okay, so we have to calculate this integral in this interval. See, it has a definite number, 1 to 3 closed interval. So here it is not like this. So we have simply written x cube by 3 plus constant of integration. So clearly we can now judge the difference between definite integral and indefinite integral. So this is definite means we have a definite answer for this. So this has not definite answer. Okay, here that's why we have attached that C, or written constant of integration. So generally question comes, how do you calculate definite integrals? So to calculate definite integrals, first you observe the numbers. So okay, see, this is called, so these two are generally they are called as, see, limits. Okay, so this is called lower limit. Okay, this is called lower limit, and this is called, see, upper limit. Okay, so lower limit and upper limit. So we have to calculate the value of this integral. Okay, so this lower limit and upper limit, that is the closed interval. So now our function is must be well defined, and it should be continuous in this interval. Then only we can talk about definite integrals. So then other major difference between indefinite integral and definite integral is, see, indefinite, to indicate that indefiniteness we write constant of integration. Here there is a limitation, say 1 to 3. So we are taking only this interval 1 to 3. Okay, we have a definite known interval. Therefore, while calculating definite integrals, no need to write constant of integration. Observe carefully. So whenever we calculate definite integral, no need to write constant of integration. So then what will be the answer for this? See, if I integrate say x square, once again use the formula, so I will get what? X cube divided by 3. See, observe this. This is the integral. You know this. This is the integral. See, here also we got x cube by 3. Just we have written constant of integration to indicate that it is a indefinite integral, but it's not the case like this. See, it is definite integral it ranges from 1 to 3. See, I have not written the constant of integration. So, important point to note is, in definite integrals, no need to write the constant of integration. Okay, that vanishes. See, now, how do you calculate this? See, this is an integral. So, I have calculated this by using the power rule, x square. So, the integration of x to the power of n is x to the power of n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. Using that formula, I get x cube by 3. Okay, then I have to calculate. See, I have to get some particular value. So, how do you get that particular value? See, this upper limit and lower limit. See, value, observe carefully. So, we have to calculate this at the upper end, and we have to calculate this at the lower limit or lower end. See, upper limit and lower limit. So, value of the function, see that this means, okay, let me write it clearly. See, I can take this as x, okay. See, x is equal to 1 to x is equal to 3. Let me take like that. Then it will be clear. See, x is equal to 1 to x is equal to 3. Now, what I have to do? See, I will, first I will calculate this and substitute this 3, okay, 3 in place of x. That is, see, 3 cube divided by 3. This is upper limit. Difference, we have to take the difference. Upper limit minus, the lower limit is 1. So, put x is equal to 1 here. So, 1 cube divided by 3. Then 3 cube divided by 3 is 27 by 3 minus 1 by 3, okay. Then this 27 minus 1, that will be what? 26 divided by 3. See this, 26 divided by 3. It is a value, particular value. I got 26 by 3. This is integration of x square from 1 to 3. It is 26 by 3. See here, just we have integrated and written the constant of integration. But here not like that. So we have to calculate the value of the integral at the upper limit minus lower limit. Okay. So generally, see, observe this. I have taken an example here. So generally, how do you write here? How do you describe this definite integral? So we take a function that y is equal to f of x, b a function which is, observe this, which is well defined, okay, which is well defined and continuous. See, it should be, you know, this should be continuous in, see, closed interval, okay, closed interval AB, closed interval AB, then say integration of, say I have considered one particular example. So here my function is what? F of x with respect to x. See this here, x is equal to a to c, x is equal to b. See here I have taken one example here to give the meaning of definite integral. See, x is equal to a to x is equal to b. See, it gives me some answer. Okay, after calculating this, see, I got, after integrating x square, I got x cube by 3. Likewise, this gives me some antiderivative. We know this antiderivative. So let us take the antiderivative of phi of x or f of x. See, I got the antiderivative from a to see b. Here a and b are called upper limit and lower limits. So they are the limits of integration. So how do you calculate this? See, I have substituted upper limit minus lower limit. See, what is the upper limit? So I get, see, upper limit. So value of the antiderivative at the upper limit minus value of the antiderivative at the lower limit. This gives me the answer. So here, a and, okay, I will write it separately. So here a is called lower limit and b is called see, upper limit of the function. So here one important thing to remember here is what? No need to write, see, constant of integration. Observe this carefully. No need to write constant of integration. So see, whatever the statement you see, if we consider a function which is well defined and continuous in this interval, then integration of f of x from a to b, so that gives me one antiderivative. So we calculate that by substituting this upper limit minus lower limit. So this statement is called as fundamental theorem of integral calculus. Okay, so whatever the statement I have written here, that is called fundamental theorem of integral calculus. Okay, so now if we calculate these definite integrals, no need to write the constant of integration. So this is our first example. So if I have, okay, I have calculated this, I have integrated this integration of x square. See, integration of x square from lower limit to upper limit 1 to 3. So that is x cube by 3. So 1 to 3. So I have substituted x is equal to 1 minus x is equal to 3. So here this is the difference. Okay, upper limit minus lower limit. Let me write this as, see, upper limit minus, okay, lower limit. So this is the method to calculate definite integrals. Okay, so let us consider some more examples, and okay, let us go for second example. So let us integrate this. Integrate very simple example. I will consider this. See, minus 1 to 1. See, observe that integrate x plus 1 with respect to x. See, all the method what we have done in indefinite integral, that is same. Only thing is we have to write these integrals. Okay, then we don't write constant of integration. So calculate the upper limit and value at the lower limit. So now let me consider this I. Okay, I is equal to, see, minus 1 to 1. Observe carefully. So x plus 1 with respect to x. See, here minus 1 to 1. That means what? It is, the function is well defined. See, the function is well defined in that interval, and it is continuous. This function, whatever the function given, that is continuous. Okay. Then see, integration of, see, x plus 1. So integration of x and integration of 1. If we can do it separately. So otherwise, so okay, let me write it okay, separately. Minus 1 to 1. See, some rule. So integration of x with respect to x plus integration of 1 with respect to x. See, this is from minus 1 to plus 1. Observe this. Integration of x is what? X square divided by 2 by using the power rule from minus 1 to 1, plus integration of 1 with respect to x is what? X. This is also from minus 1 to plus 1. Now see, observe this carefully. Now I calculated, I have written the antiderivatives. Okay, antiderivative. Now I have to calculate antiderivative at the upper limit minus antiderivative at the lower limit for these two. See, antiderivative at the upper limit minus antiderivative at the lower limit. That gives me the value. Now for this portion, see, this is upper limit, lower limit. So put x is equal to 1 in the upper limit. So this 1 square by 2. See, upper limit minus lower limit, see, minus 1. I have to substitute x is equal to what? Minus 1. Observe this. Minus 1 whole square. Minus 1 whole square is what? 1 only. See, because minus 1 into minus 1, that is plus 1 divided by 2. Okay, upper limit minus lower limit. Then plus. Once again, upper limit is 1, so substitute 1. See, in place of x, I have substituted 1. Minus of, see, lower limit is minus 1. Then 1 square is 1 only. Okay, we write 1 square is 1 only. See, half 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2. That will be what? 0. So 0 plus 1 minus 2 minus plus 1 plus 1. So that 1 plus 1 will be, that is 2. See, value is 2. See, this definite, that's why we use the word definite. It has a definite value, that is 2. In this interval, the value is what? 2. So if we integrate that, we will get 2. So this is our second example. Okay. See, upper limit minus lower limit. Remember that. This is called fundamental theorem of integral calculus. So what is this? Fundamental theorem of integral calculus. Okay, let me consider another example. See, integration of, okay, well, let me take very simple example. See, 2 to 3. Integration of 1 by x. Very simple example. See, this I haven't written x is equal to 2 to x is equal to. There is understood that if we have lower limit and upper limit, that means x is equal to lower limit, x is equal to upper limit. Generally, we write a to b. Okay. See, 2 to 3. See, integration of this. So let me write this as I. See, integration of 2 to 3, 1 by x dx. Observe this. So you have to remember all the formulas. Okay. So integration of 1 by x. What is integration of 1 by x? Integration of 1 by x is what? Log x. So I can write that as, say, log x. This is my antiderivative. So antiderivative, after writing antiderivative, don't write plus constant because it is definite integral. Okay. Write the limits. See, I have written the limits here. Then, so log of, see, upper limit is what? 3 minus log of, see, lower limit is 2. So of course log m minus log n, I use the log property. So log 3 by, see, log of 3 by 2. So that is the value. Then let me consider. Okay, let me consider next another example here. See, integration of let me write 0 to pi by 4. See, sine 2x with respect to x. Let us integrate. See, this is a definite integral. Observe 0 to pi by 4. Integration of 0 to pi by 4 sine 2x. Okay. So then let me call this as usual. So we have to find out integral. Okay. Sine 2x. See that. Now what is the standard formula? Yes, we have a standard formula. Sine. Okay. So integration of sine x. In place of x we have 2x. You know, we have to write the coefficient of x in the denominator in the integration. So integration of sine x is what? Integration of sine x is, so we know the formula, that is minus cos x. Okay, integration of sine x is what? Minus, observe this, cos x means was 2x. Then you write this coefficient of x in the denominator. See, observe this. So don't write constant of integration. See, no need to write constant of integration while calculating the definite integral. Only we have to write the upper limit and lower limit. Say lower limit, upper limit. Now observe carefully. So we can take this 1 by 2 outside, and afterwards we can apply the limits also. Okay. Otherwise we can directly substitute upper limit and lower limit. Okay. Upper limit I will concentrate on this 3 pi by 4. So in place of x, observe this carefully. In place of x, write this pi by 4 upper limit. Okay. See, minus. So okay, I will do the upper limit here. Minus cos. See, 2x. 2 into, see, x means what? That is pi by 4. Okay. Cos 2x divided by 2. This is upper limit. Okay. Then minus, see, lower limit. For the same function you take 0. So now minus cos 2, see, x means what? 0 divided by 2. This is lower limit. Then see, 2 ones are, okay, we can cancel this 2. See, minus cos, see, pi by 2. I got this pi by 2 in the numerator divided by 2. Then I take minus into minus, it is plus. See, cos 2 into 0 is 0 divided by, okay, 2. Cos 0 divided by 2. Now, see, minus, see, cos pi by 2, cos 90, value of cos 90 is what? 0. Cos 90 is 0, so 0 by 2, that will be what? 0. Okay, cos 90 value is 0. Plus, see, cos 0, value of cos 0. Okay, value of cos 0 is 1. See, 1 divided by 2. So, 0 plus 1 by 2. So, my answer is what? 1 by 2. See, this value is 1 by 2. So, in this way, we can calculate here upper limit minus lower limit. So, antiderivative at the upper limit minus antiderivative at the lower limit. That I can calculate and I get the value as 1 by 2. So, this is our third example. Note down this example. So then let me go for fourth problem. So the fourth one is, so let me take the simple one. So 0 to pi by 4. Integration of 0 to pi by 4. See, tan x. Integration of 0 to pi by 4 tan x. So that is, see, integration of, first of all, we think about this formula. What is integration of tan x? See, we have a standard formula. So integration of tan x is, let me write this. See, integration of tan x is what? Okay, formula is what? Log of secant, okay, mod, log of secant x. That is 0 to pi by 4. Okay, standard formula, log of secant x. Now, you take the upper limit and lower limit. So what is the upper limit? See, log of secant. See, upper limit means I have to substitute pi by 4. See, pi by 4. This is upper limit. Minus, see, lower limit, log of secant 0. This will be my lower limit. See, log Okay, we'll write log only. See, log of secant pi by 4 means what? Secant 45. So secant, value of secant 45. See, secant 45. There is cos 45, value of cos 45. See, reciprocal is value of cos 45 is what? 1 by root 2. So secant 45 means reciprocal of this, that is root 2. So value of secant 45 is what? Root 2 minus, see, secant 0. Value of cos 0 is what? 1. Secant 0 is reciprocal. So log secant 0, value of secant 0 is what? 1. Of course, here we write e. So okay, base as e. Then log root 2 minus, see, log 1, that will be what? 0. Log 1 to base e, that is 0. So my answer is log of root 2 will be the answer. So you note down the solution of this. Okay, integration of tan x formula is log of secant x. So this is the fourth example. Then let me go for this fifth one. Okay, let us consider one more simple example. See, integration of 0 to 1 square root of 1 minus x square. So integration of 0 to 1 dx by square root of 1 minus x square. Observe this very simple example. Okay, so see here, we know integration of, see, 1 by square root of 1 minus x square. So you must remember all the formulas. See, integration of 1 by square root of 1 minus x square dx. This is what the formula is. What? See, formula is sin inverse x. Okay, so integration of this is, so we know this is the standard formula. See, sin inverse x from 0 to 1. Okay, so now upper limit and lower limit. So we have to substitute this upper limit. See, sin inverse. So this, in place of x I have to substitute 1 minus, see, sin inverse of, see, lower limit is 0. Okay, this is antiderivative at the upper limit, antiderivative at the lower limit. We have to consider the difference. See, f of b minus f of a generally. So sin inverse 1. So we know inverse trigonometric functions. So sin of which angle gives me 1. See, we know sin 90. Okay, sin 90 is 1. So sin inverse 1 means my angle should be what? Pi by 2. That is sin 90. Minus sin inverse 0 means sin 0 is 0. So I can write 0. So the final answer will be pi by 2. Okay, the final answer is pi by 2. So let us go for okay, sixth one. So we have a lot of examples in this. Okay, considering simple examples. So let me take the limits as 0 to 1 tan inverse x. Observe this. 0 to 1 tan inverse. Okay, this is 1 by 1 plus x square. Integration of 1 by 1 plus x square. Okay, this is the given integrand, integral of this. So now see, once again, you know the formula. Integration of 1 by 1 plus x square is 1 by 1 plus x square is tan inverse x. Okay, so let me write that as, see, you know the direct formula. See, tan inverse x from lower limit to upper limit. See, now you apply this upper limit. See, tan inverse of upper limit is what? 1 minus, see, tan inverse of 0. Okay, so tan inverse of 1 minus tan inverse of 0. See, observe this tan inverse of 1. See, observe this 1. So tan of which value gives me 1? See, in inverse trigonometric function, we know this. Tan inverse 1. Okay, I am writing directly. See, tan inverse of, see, 1 means what? I can write that as tan 45. See, tan 45 is 1. So tan inverse of tan pi by 4 means I get what? Pi by 4. So tan inverse of 1 means what? Pi by 4 minus tan inverse of 0 is only 0 only. So the answer is, that is pi by 4. See, I got the value as pi by 4. Then let us go for seventh example. See, very simple. I will consider another simple example. Integration of e to the power of x with respect to x from, see, 4 to 5. So very simple. See this. See, of we have to integrate e to the power of x. So integration of e to the power of x is what? E to the power of x from 4 to 5. See this lower limit, upper limit. Now, see this antiderivative at the upper limit. So antiderivative at the upper limit minus antiderivative at the lower limit. So that is e to the power of 5 minus e to the power of 4. Then let me go for see another example. The integration of, so this already we have worked out in our indefinite integral part, okay. So that is x by x square plus 1. So 2 to 3. Observe carefully. So now I will equate this to I. Observe this. See, first we have to remember all the standard forms. See, in the denominator I have x square plus 1. See, observe this. In the denominator I have x square plus 1. So if I, see, my denominator is x square plus 1. If I differentiate this, see, derivative of x square is what? 2x plus derivative of 1 is 0. So that is 2x only. So in the numerator I have only x. I need 2. See, I need 2. So I can multiply and divide by 2. See, I will write 1, 2 in the denominator and another 2 with x. So that is, okay. Then see, problem looks like this. Now I will write this half as it is. See, now observe this. You think this as function f of x. If I differentiate the denominator, I will get, see, derivative. That is, numerator is the derivative. So function is like this. Okay. See, standard form. Integration of f dash x divided by, you know this, f of x. If we have an integral like this, so my answer is log of the denominator. Okay, log of f of x. So half into, see now, okay, 2 to 3. Now 2x divided by x square plus 1 is like this. So if I differentiate denominator, I get the numerator. So I can write that as log of mod, see, the denominator, x square plus 1, okay. Log of the denominator from, see, cannot forget those limits 2 to 3. So I have used this standard form. So then we have to apply this upper limit minus lower limit. So half, I will write half as it is. See, log of, okay, log of. So I have written mod because we have a log function. See, x in place of x I have to substitute 3. So log of, observe this. See, I am writing now upper limit. So if I put 3, observe carefully, 3 square. 3 square is what? 9. 9 plus 1. See, log of the upper limit minus upper limit minus lower log of this 2. I have to put 2. 2 square means what? 4. 4 plus 1. Then see, half into 9 plus 1 log 10. So of course it is positive. So log of 4 plus 1 it is 5. So log 10 minus log 5. So it is already positive, therefore we need not write mod again. See, half into log m minus log n. So that I can write log m by n. So log 10 by 5. Log of 10 divided by 5. So that I can write it as half into, see, log. So 5 ones are 5 twos are, that will get half log 2. Okay. Half into log 2. So that is the simplified answer. So I have divided and multiplied by 2. Then I have used the standard form, integration of, see, f dash x divided by f of x, that is log of the denominator. Then lower limit and upper limit. So this is, okay, this is upper limit and lower limit. See, upper limit means we have to substitute x is equal to 3 here. 3 square means what? 9. 9 plus 1, that will be 10. Then lower limit means 2. 2 square means what? 2 square plus 1. 2 square means 4. 4 plus 1, that will be 5. So in this way we can calculate this definite integral. So this, see, fundamental theorem of integral calculus. What it says, if we have a function y is equal to f of x. So if we have a function y is equal to f of x, which is well defined and continuous in the closed interval, then integration of f of x gives me antiderivative. So whatever the interval we have described, so we have to find the antiderivative at the upper limit and minus antiderivative at the lower limit. So difference of these two will give us one value. That's why we call this as definite integral. See, here whenever doing this, no need to write the constant of integration because the constant of integration vanishes. So see, substitution method, one of the techniques of integration we know, substitution method. So if we follow the substitution method, so the limits will change. Okay, see, originally we have a to b. Okay, so if we substitute, then these integrals will also change, or we have to change the limits of integration if we do the integration by substitution method. That is also one important point.